All right. I think we're live. Are we
Yes,
live?
we are.
Yes, we're live. Okay, fantastic. We'll be live.
Sorry, guys, we had some technical
Hi.
difficulties.
Yes, multiple, but it's fine. We figured it out. It's the nature of
We're
going
here.
live, so it's fine. We're here. Yes. How are you?
Well, I think I'm getting sick right now. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm traveling right now, and unfortunately that means that I forgot the cord to my mic, so I apologies to everyone if my audio is messed up. And then, that'll be fixed, and then we're at a different time than usual because I'm traveling, but we'll be back to our regular time next week.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, guys, we're going to be covering the news on religion, atheism, unfortunately, anti-Semitic things happening around the world, and a whole bunch of other stuff. We have I think like 9 items today to cover, or 8 or 9 items to cover today. Yeah, but what countries are we covering today, Susie? Like the news
We
that we are.
have the United States, we have Australia, Indonesia, something coming out of the Vatican, and a story from Spain that I think you will find very fascinating, if not entertaining. Because I found out about this recently, and I was like, "Oh, no way!"
Right. Is most of the news today tragic, happy, or like heartwarming?
Most of the news
wholesome?
is there's only
Really
one that is like the worst, and then the rest of them are kind of like, oh well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So not that many bad news. Hopefully.
No,
Okay. So
no.
people are telling us. Okay. So Lobranzo is telling us as greetings from the Netherlands. Get well soon, Susanna. Great. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, guys. Yes. Please let us know in the live chat where you're watching from. We like to brag about how global our live show is. So please let us know. Right. And Kiko is saying hello from Poland. Amazing. And Norman, again, guys, not Newman, Norman, because he's going to change the timing again. Why do you keep complaining? You know what, Norman? I'm not going to, if you complain, I'm not going to highlight your comments, because there are reasons. We always have reasons. Okay. There's some scheduling conflict and something that is happening. Yeah.
It's better than no show at all.
Yeah. Okay. Michael is saying Israel is murdering innocent children, and you are covering anti-Semitism. Oh, I didn't, Michael. I didn't know that anti-Semitism is not important anymore. I didn't know that because of other things that you are describing. I mean, in the way you're describing, therefore anti-Semitism is now apparently okay and not worth covering.
Because there's a nation state taking military action that suddenly the attacks against Jewish civilians that have nothing to do with it on the other side of the world are now, in fact, it's actually harmful to now talk about that. Get the fuck out of here.
We should just ignore that. Yeah, like let's just it's non-important news. Amazing standards here.
In the same way that if someone was like, oh my gosh, you're talking about a 6-year-old boy that was stabbed 26 times by his neighbor because he's Palestinian, when there are Jews that, do you forget about October 7th, blah, blah, blah. That'd be a horrendous comment.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, we already got super chats, by the way. You want to read this one?
I love a super chat that just makes me ponder and plumb the depths of the universe, because I don't know what this means.
Okay.
All colors are entombed in black gave us €5. Thank you. Saying Assalamu effin' alaikum, you weeaboos. Welcome to Arabic 101. Check Filthy Frank Japanese 101 for the reference. So someone is a Joji fan, I guess. And then gave another super chat. Well, thank you for the super chat, saying Italy, Sardinia, Iran, and Albania's cousins. Again, I don't know what this was referring to, but it gives us a chance to ponder. Oh, and Yusuf Dumpy is asking, what happened to you guys last week? It was my birthday, or I was celebrating my birthday last weekend. and I really needed a break, honestly, also just for my mental health. And people sent me a lot of birthday wishes. They're on Instagram and Facebook, and it actually really did mean a lot to me to get the outpouring and love. Because, yeah, most of the time I think no one recognizes what I do. So it was really heartwarming, actually.
Yeah, guys,
So
please,
thank you,
please
everyone.
please mention in the chat, happy birthday, Susanna. Please, that would be very. Oh, look, we already have that. Wikar is saying, happy birthday,
Thank
Susanna.
you.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so we have some people saying that they're watching from New York, and we have this is not a war. Oh yeah, exactly. Joshua is saying this is not a war news channel. Plus, what has been covered says enough. Innocent people are corralled into bombing zones. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, guys, like there are other stuff happening in the world. We have covered the conflict. We have covered the conflict in our previous shows, and we will
There's a
probably
lot of
continue to
conflicts
do
we
so.
don't cover.
Yeah. And I don't know, but by the way, here's the thing. I suspect people. I have a question for people like Michael here, right? Why do people like Michael never get angry that we don't cover other conflicts, even worse conflicts? Why do they not get pissed? Is it bad that I suspect, Susanna, that it has something to do with these people being Jewish? Like, why? Because there's so many conflict where so many innocent people die, and these people never get butthurt over the fact that we don't cover it. But I mean, and this one is something that we have covered, by the way, but we don't cover it, like maybe not every week, or maybe it's not our first news every week, and they get pissed.
Or
And
we don't talk about what's
so
happening on the ground, like.
yes.
And here's the thing. I don't want to just outright say, oh, it's because you're anti-Semitic, because I think that's like too easy of a shot. But
But it
could
is
be
because
true.
of that.
But then also it's like the vast majority of the world's conflicts don't involve Jews. Let's think about that. The vast majority of the world's conflicts do not involve Jews. So yeah, this reaction towards the one that does is it stands out, and it's noticeable amidst your silence on the many conflicts that yeah, exactly. I made my point.
And it's well, I want to make this point. It's quite ironic that it's like you are covering anti-Semitism, like he's angry that we're covering anti-Semitism, even though his comment, I think, is a reflection of anti-Semitism. Because again, the double standard when it comes to the outrage, the butthurt that people, it's selective outrage. It's selective outrage based on when it's about the Jews.
God forbid we talk about the world's oldest hatred on a channel that talks about religious freedom.
I know. Good point. That's a good point. All right, so we have a whole bunch of happy birthdays for you in the live chat. We got 2 super chats. Do you want to read
old,
those?
You guys. Nasrin June gave us 20 Swedish krona. Thank you, saying I love you, Susanna and Armin. Nice to see you. Hugs to you. And also, happy birthday, dear Susanna from Sweden. Thank you, Nasrin June. Khayli Mamnoon. Merci.
Thank you.
Merci, Delam.
All right, and we got people saying happy birthday, happy belated birthday, happy birthday. So many happy birthdays. So okay, wait, let me just quickly highlight some of them. All right. And then Noman just gave us a super chat saying happy birthday, Susanna. Thank you, Noman. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into. I just want
to point out, Michael is saying people are being murdered because of their religion by people who are telling us it's anti-Semitic to criticize murdering children. Okay, well, first of all, this claim that they're being murdered because of their religion is highly suspect because of all the Muslims that, one, first of all, live and actually prosper inside of Israel. So that's point number one. Two, how often do you talk about the Shias that are attacked with suicide bombs in Afghanistan? Because we actually talk about that a lot. You want to talk about people being murdered for their religion? That's like case number one.
Yeah. How many times these people were outraged over all the Yemenis killed by Saudi Arabia? Right? How many times these people talk about the 2 million Afghans that are being forced out of Pakistan, right? I mean, almost the same population of Gaza, but like people are not talking about that. It's I don't know, it's so ridiculous. It's so obvious. I'm like, oh, why do you call us anti-Semitic? Maybe because you are. Like, oh, people think that if you criticize Israel is anti-Semitic. No, you idiot. We criticize Israel. We have criticized Israel constantly, all the time, but we're not selective about it. We're not selective. We try our best to cover as many problems around the world. We don't just go focus on when the Jews do it, unlike you. That's why you're anti-Semitic. It's not because you're criticizing Israel, because we criticize Israel. So there you go.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
We just have better criticism.
Yeah.
What Armin is saying is that we do it right.
Yeah.
I'm being silly. Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of anti-Semitism, I saw this news story, and Armin, I think you sent this to me, and I think this might be one of the. This is pretty ironic and a little bit humorous in the way that it's so absurd. And I think it's okay to laugh about this because it's so stupid, and also nobody got hurt. If people got hurt, it would, even if it wasn't the intended target, which you'll find out about, it wouldn't have been as funny. But like, it was just property damage, and this is like so insane. So
yeah.
Well,
we got another
super
chat. Yeah, another super chat thanking you, wishing you happy birthday. Do you want to read that one?
All colors are entombed in black. Thank you for the €2 super chat saying also happy birthday, fellow November Scorpio. Thank you.
All right, not that means anything, but thank you. Let's go. I don't want to. We're an atheist channel. God damn it, we're not doing.
Yuval is so funny. Yuval is one of our Atheist Republic members from Israel, and saying, if you want to be anti-Semitic, do it in style. And that's what we're about to talk about.
Oh my God, we got another super chat from Turkey this time.
Oh my goodness, Erican, thank you. Saying happy Sunday, all Arminists and Susannaists.
Thank you. All right, so can we clap for this first news?
It feels weird to do it, but we're going to roast this lady, so let's do it.
All right, first news.
The dumbest anti-Semitic hate crime. In a disturbing turn of events, Ruba al-Maglath, I don't know how to pronounce this last name, al-Maglath, I apologize, aged 34, deliberately drove her car into a building in Indianapolis, incorrectly assuming it to be a Jewish educational institution. The target, however, was called the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, a faction or subsection denomination of the Black Hebrew Israelites, and recognized as extremely anti-Semitic by the Anti-Defamation League and labeled as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. This act of aggression was motivated by her reaction to news coverage of the Israel-Hamas war. She admitted to police that she acted out of anger, influenced by her perceived connection of the building to Israel due to the symbols and signage, including a Star of David-like emblem and the term Hebrew Israelite. At the time of the incident, the building housed several adults and children. So adults and children were inside the building, amplifying the potential for harm. Charged preliminarily with criminal recklessness, her misguided attack highlights the dangerous consequences of misdirected anger and critical need for combating the rising tide of anti-Semitism and other forms of hate-induced violence. So, let's provide some backup for those who are not aware. So you might not understand exactly. So she basically attacked a building by driving her car into it that she thought was a Jewish school, but it's not a Jewish school. In fact, it's the building belonging to what I believe is a cult that is actually some of the most anti-Semitic people I've ever interacted with. So, and again, even if, even though the Israel School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, this Black Hebrew Israelite school, is an anti-Semitic group, that doesn't justify attacking them, right? I want to make that clear. Like, just because an anti-Semite ended up attacking another anti-Semite, that doesn't make it okay. Because those people inside were like innocent civilians. They were just minding their own business inside their own community building when someone tried to drive a car through it. So that's completely unacceptable. That is an attack. That is an assault. It doesn't matter that their views are as hateful as hers. That's unjustified. So I just want to make that clear. But it's just so ironic. And yeah, Devin is saying, so oopsie, wrong people. So for those who are not aware, there is a movement that started in the United States called the Black Hebrew Israelites. And it's a very complex movement. It started kind of its roots almost 100 years ago. And there's many different denominations, and they each kind of have different beliefs. And apparently I've read that not all of them are anti-Semitic, or some of them have actually given up the anti-Semitic views. But I have personally interacted with a lot of BHI groups, and they are actually the most anti-Semitic people I've ever met in my life, like in person. So I just want to make it clear that there are some people that are like, oh no, they're not all that bad. I'm going to just talk very broadly. So this is a movement that essentially believes that Black people are the actual Jews, that the people that we know as the Jewish people are actually essentially fake Jews that stole their identity from them to then do all the regular conspiracies that you hear about. And some of their beliefs include that basically Black people, Latinos, and indigenous people of the North Americas are actually the 12 tribes of Israel. And essentially, I remember speaking to one group where they believed that the transatlantic slave trade was God's justified punishment against the African people for losing their covenant with him, which was horrible. Like, I'm standing on the corner of the street, because if you live in any major American city and you go downtown, you will probably see these guys standing on a street corner yelling, screaming hate speeches at anyone that walks past. They are the most racist people I have ever met in person. They would tell me to my face that when the time of revelation comes and God gives them the opportunity to create their kingdom on earth, that they will RAPE me and then smash my babies' heads against rocks. And I'm just like chilling on the street corner downtown talking to them like it's casual. And wow. To be fair, when they were saying this to me, I actually wasn't afraid, but I just want people to like understand how extreme some of these groups' beliefs are. The most anti-Semitic things I have ever heard someone say in person to my face comes from these groups. I literally cannot repeat on YouTube what they call the Jewish people. The people that we know as Jewish people, because they think they're the real Jews. And so in their practice, they incorporate a lot of or appropriate, however you want to frame it, a lot of Jewish tradition or a lot of Jewish behavioral worship into their customs. And so they use a lot of emblems that look like Jewish emblems in their imagery and their costumes and their culture and practice, so to speak. And so that's why this lady thought that this school was actually full of Jews, because they had a symbol that looked kind of like two imposed Star of Davids with some crosses in it. And that was enough for her to go attack that building, which is absolutely insane. I have a few more things I want to add, but Armin, let me get your reaction first.
Do we know, this is her picture, by the way, do we have any information about her background, like beliefs? Like, does she have any part of any radical groups? Was she consuming any kind of content online? You know,
there wasn't a lot of information available about that at the time that this happened. And not much on her background has come out since. I mean, she was charged.
By the way, guys, by background, I mean ideological background. I hope people don't think I'm trying to figure out her, you know, a country
Ethnic
of origin or
background,
stuff
yeah.
like ethnic background, country of origin. I'm talking about like whether was she exposed to alt-right views, Islamic views, Christian views, any views. Like, I just want to see what drove her to do something like that. So we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the New York Post reports that she was allegedly under the influence of medication when she did this, but the New York Post isn't the most credible.
Okay.
And but what's so crazy is she's like 34 years old. And based on the reporting, like if there's someone that has a criminal record, that will be documented and mentioned in reporting because that's public record. That's easy to find. So I'm assuming that she had no criminal record. And it's so crazy to me. This woman is 34 years old. She went this far through life, probably worked really hard, probably had a career, probably went through difficulty to complete education and reach various milestones and markers in her life. And it's kind of strange, but that was the first thing one of the first things I was thinking about when I heard this. I was like, this is such a crazy way to throw away your life. This is such a crazy way to throw away your life. Just deciding one day to drive into a building you think houses Jews screaming Free Palestine. You've just decided that your life and everything that you could achieve is over. You're like, you know what? It was a good ride. I'm going to throw away all my accomplishments and just become a pariah to society because I decided to do an anti-Semitic attack. And also, and I'm just really glad that no one was harmed. Because even if this group that she did attack are, you know, anti-Semites, I don't want the children that are in that building to be harmed.
Yeah.
That would actually be legitimately really scary for that group. That's still them being attacked and blindsided out of nowhere.
Exactly.
So it's so wild. It's
all right. So
it's one of the dumbest things I've heard in a long time.
I know. But okay, so we got a new member from it needs to be a smaller name, but it's good. It's good. Wait. All colors are. What is this? Why is this so long? I'm just gonna say. Why? Okay. What does that mean? I'm just gonna call you All Colors. All Colors is just became a new member. So thank you.
Yay! Thank you. Welcome to Satan's Minions.
Thank you for being a member. And Noman just used his 16-month membership to say 16 months, let's freaking go. Okay, good. Thank you,
I just
Noman,
found
for being
some
a member
information.
For 16 months.
According to the Associated Press, she is a Muslim from Jordan who became a U.S. citizen. Wow. She has no prior criminal records. Her attorney says that he was not aware of any ties to Palestine. but that the Saturday before, she had been watching a, quote, constant barrage of news about the war in Gaza and became overwhelmed. And there was a person who watched her do it. A man who had been sitting in a car outside of the school building told police he watched a woman put her car in reverse and back directly into the building, as the affidavit states. He told the police he went to check on the driver, and she immediately began ranting, yelling free Palestine, and accused him of sending money to keep her people oppressed.
Her people. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay,
I wonder if she's a Palestinian from Jordan, because that might make sense. She's talking about her people, or maybe she's just speaking more broadly, since obviously there are a lot of Palestinians in Jordan. I don't know.
Okay. Let's move on. Oh, we got another super chat. Oh no, not super chat. A 1 month membership by Sid saying a woke Indian American couple also got fired. Oh, I didn't know.
Were they? I'm guessing that they were probably tearing down pictures of kidnapped babies, because I've seen a lot of people getting fired for doing that. And people need to realize, I saw there's a group in the United States that I love. They're called the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education. And basically they protect free speech. And they put out a video saying, if you're tearing down these posters, that is vandalism. They weren't taking a position. They're just saying, if you're doing that, that is vandalism. Our First Amendment rights, at least here in the United States, give you the right to put up your own posters. If you don't like those posters of kidnapped babies and children and grandmas, you can put up your own posters countering it with whatever you think actually happened, if you can dispute that this happened. But if you're tearing down someone else's speech, that's actually vandalism, which I thought was really interesting. It doesn't matter what side you're on, so to speak. That's vandalism.
Right. All right, let's move on to the next news, because I find this next news very, very interesting. Can we clap for it?
Sure.
Okay, next news.
Biden teases national strategy to combat, quote unquote, Islamophobia. Amidst growing concerns of Islamophobia, President Joe Biden's administration is spearheading a pioneering national strategy to combat the issue. This initiative, though groundbreaking, faces skepticism from Muslim Americans, particularly due to the administration's strong support for Israel during its military operations against Hamas in Gaza. Excuse me. The strategy aims to collaborate with lawmakers, advocacy groups, and community leaders to tackle anti-Muslim bigotry and all forms of hate, as emphasized by White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Quote, moving forward, the president, vice president, and our entire administration will continue to ensure every American has the freedom to live their lives in safety and without fear for how they pray, what they believe, and who they are. However, some Muslim American leaders expressed doubts, highlighting the need for a clear stance against far-right Israeli politicians and a call for more robust action against hate crimes targeting Muslims and Arab Americans. This skepticism is rooted in recent tensions, including the Israel-Hamas conflict and a recent remark by Biden that questioned the Palestinian death count. The strategy's success hinges on addressing these complex and intertwined issues. So, let me provide a little bit of background. This was the White House a few months ago, unveiled that they are having a national strategy to combat anti-Semitism. And then this apparent plan to combat Islamophobia was already in the works for some months. And then they just happened to unveil it around right now. And we don't know what this strategy is going to be yet. They just announced that this is something that they're working on. So what this strategy is remains to be seen. Excuse me. It's been very controversial, and a lot of Muslim leaders are basically not, they're very skeptical. They're very skeptical and expressing a lot of doubts about this and almost implying a hypocrisy from the Biden administration.
Wait, to fight Islamophobia, according to these people, you should stop supporting Israel. Like, I don't see how they're connected. I mean, Darko is putting it very well. So Darko is saying, wait, are they suggesting that supporting Israel is Islamophobic?
I think either they are implying that, or they are saying, this is more of a steel man, that the administration's effort to push forward this strategy will likely not be received as legitimate or credible from the population as this conflict is still going on.
But first of all, just to be clear, Islamophobia is a nonsensical term. The term needs to be anti-Muslim bigotry. Okay, I just want to put that out of the way. But what does this one of these have to do with the other one? I don't understand. Like, why? These are two separate criticisms that needs to be separate. You could let's say, for the sake of argument, Joe Biden's support for Israel was wrong. What does this got to do with how effective this policy is or is not going to be? These are complete. I don't understand. It has nothing to do. I mean, this is how one-dimensional people are. Like, you have to agree with me and support everything I support for I to accept other things that you want to do for me. Like, it's all in or nothing. This is what they're saying. There's like, you have to submit. It's funny how these are Muslims who are saying this, because they're like, you have to submit all or none of it would be accepted. Even if you're doing something here for me that might be productive for me, might be like by some my standards. If you're doing something else that I disagree, I will reject this. This is why maybe my suggestion is not to give in at all, because they are telling you that it will never be enough. Unless you submit to our ways completely, nothing will be enough. So how about just not giving? This is not a group of people. They are not a group of people that you will the more you give, the more they want. By the way, Joe Biden's popularity has been hit dramatically.
Of course.
Because of support for Israel. A lot of leftists who are wanting to vote for Joe Biden as a way to not let Trump come into office are now considering not voting for Biden at all. And this could bring Trump back into power, which is unbelievable.
It's almost like a repeat of the burning or bust kind of mentality.
Yeah. Well, that's scary. I don't know. That's what do you guys think?
I have a little bit more context I can provide. So basically, there was Rami Nahashibi, the founder of the Inner City Muslim Network in Chicago, said that he believed such an effort would be dead on arrival with the Muslim community until the president and the administration forcefully condemn members of the far-right government of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who have openly called for the eradication of Palestinians from Gaza, and until the administration more aggressively calls out hate crimes targeting Muslims and Arabs. Well, okay, here's the thing. I think this national strategy probably is the administration's effort to more aggressively call out hate crimes targeting Muslim and Arab Americans. That kind of sounds like exactly what it is. And I think it's, again, this is supposed to be domestically focused. That is supposed to be the nature of this strategy. So, I mean, I can understand why people connect them, because just the world, this is what everyone is really paying attention to right now. But at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a domestic strategy. And on the other hand, there are a lot of people who are deeply concerned about the fact that this is the way that the administration is approaching it, by calling it Islamophobia. In some of the press statements, they use the term anti-Muslim bigotry, right? But the White House said that it's to counter the scourge of Islamophobia and hate in all its forms. Well, what is going to be considered that hate? people have some serious questions and concerns about that. And because we don't know what the strategy is going to be like so far, it's really hard for us to tell.
So they haven't mentioned what this all means. And I mean, here's the thing. I am worried for other countries because the good thing about the US, so the problem for people who might be new here, the problem with the term Islamophobia is that instead of fighting anti-Muslim bigotry, you have Islam as something that you want to protect, which then ends up for making a lot of people focus on saving the ideology and protecting Islam rather than protecting Muslims, right? The good thing about the US is that will not translate to defending Islam, because you can't do that because you have the First Amendment and there's nothing anybody could do about it. So there's no laws that you could have in the United States that will protect criticism of Islam or ridicule of Islam. That will always be free to do in the United States. But the problem with legitimizing or giving a credibility to the term Islamophobia is that now a lot of other countries could refer to it as, it makes this term more common, more acceptable. And I don't know, like a country in Canada could constantly use this as precedent and keep using the word Islamophobia. And in Canada or in the UK, for example, we don't have the First Amendment that you have in the United States. And constantly using the term Islamophobia there might translate into laws that will eventually stop us from being able to be as free as we want against criticizing or ridiculing or mocking Islam. So that's the problem here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not far off. We see European countries that are banning burning of Quran, like they're moving in that direction, right? So
yeah, it's horrible. Like, yeah, Denmark essentially betraying its central values because of security threats from the rest of the world. It's absurd. And I never understand that approach. I mean, I on a very base level, of course, you're like, oh, well, let's do something to be safer. But then you're giving in. It's never going to be enough for Islamists. They're going to continue to push, and they're going to continue to threaten violence. And people never take a step back and say, why are we acknowledging, they're giving even more power and legitimacy, proving the success of these tactics to these Islamists? It's infuriating.
Right. Sid has a super chat. Do you want to read this?
Sid is saying, I consider myself as a proud Islamophobe, but I'm not an anti-Muslim bigot. No one should be treated unfairly, but Islam needs to be ridiculed all the time. I agree. In fact, there are many people and thinkers who say that, in fact, to be able to bring Islam into the 21st century, we need to ridicule Islam as strongly as Christianity has been ridiculed for centuries. That actually will benefit Muslims by desensitizing them, and ideally that would even make sectarian differences less relevant. Because if a sectarian difference is, often equivocable to blasphemy to many people, well, if you're seeing something that's way more blasphemous than that, suddenly the sectarian difference is no big deal.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next news. Can we clap for it?
Oh, no, this is horrible.
Oh, okay. I almost clapped. Next news.
Elderly Jewish man dies after clash with pro-Palestine protesters. In a deeply distressing incident in Southern California, 69-year-old Paul Kessler, a Jewish man, tragically died following an altercation with pro-Palestine protesters in Thousand Oaks. Ventura County Sheriff Jim Freihoff spoke of the incident's complexity, citing conflicting witness statements and an absence of clear video evidence, which left the precise nature of the altercation ambiguous. Freihoff remarked, there is clearly an interaction between the two, but what the level of altercation and interaction was is still unclear. During the confrontation at dueling pro-Israel and pro-Palestine protests, Kessler sustained a fatal head injury. A video circulating on social media showed him receiving aid on the sidewalk while blood flowed from his head, with his condition exacerbated by a reported fall during the physical altercation. Subsequently, Luai Abdel Fattah al-Najani, a 50-year-old professor, was arrested and charged with involuntary manslaughter and battery, accused of inflicting severe bodily harm on Kessler. Despite the charges, the detailed circumstances leading to Kessler's fall and injuries are still under investigation, with authorities seeking more evidence to clarify the sequence of events. This tragic event has prompted community leaders to call for calm and emphasize the need for restraint to prevent further escalation of tensions. So, there was this incident that happened in California where there were two protests that were happening. And I'm not sure if it was a pro-Israeli protest and then there were pro-Palestine counter-protesters or the reverse. I'm not sure who was there first, so to speak. But there were two groups in the same area on the sidewalk and street in Southern California near a gas station. And they were both exercising their constitutional right to show support to the causes that they felt, passionate about. And what's not clear is the exact circumstances of what happened. There was some form of altercation between Paul Kessler and the man who has been charged, Lole Abdel Fattah al-Najani. And there are some witness statements saying that he was pushed. The coroner has ruled it a homicide, meaning that there was another person involved in the circumstances of this death. And there is other evidence that Kessler had injury to his face. I remember when this happened, and I was literally watching it unfold, the new evidence come out on social media. Now, of course, we don't know the veracity of what's posted, on social media. So I want to, talk about it carefully. But there were some people saying that al-Najani basically struck him in the face with a megaphone, and that caused him to fall backwards and hit his head on the pavement. And he was taken to the hospital unconscious and died in the hospital the next morning. Now, there are other witness statements that are inconsistent with that narrative, so we don't exactly know. But this has just become an absolute firestorm, and obviously increased intentions on a whole different level in Southern California in particular.
Jesus Christ. Okay. This is going to get... Do you think this is going to get worse and worse? Some people are predicting a whole generation of people being... it's getting more polarized and polarized. Like, I don't know what's... we might be seeing this for the next decade or so. I don't know.
What do you mean by this?
Like this level of hostility between people who disagree with each other over stuff like this. I don't know. I just feel like we're losing the middle, and people are... people predicted that it's going to end up like this. I just don't know to what level are we going to see this. This could tear apart the fabric of... I don't know. I don't want to fearmonger. I'm just saying a lot of the predictions of what people were saying that is coming true. I didn't know how true they were, but like it's slowly turning into that, more and more. And I don't know if we're going to keep going in this direction. It's not going to help but, finding ways to solve problems, because people are seeing there's less dialogue and more... people are not finding... they're not looking for solutions. They're not looking for ways to come up with compromises or agreements or understanding. They just see the other side as pure evil, and that needs to be crushed and defeated, rather than to convinced or talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of that video you sent of Yuval Harari to me, where he's talking about... Can you explain that to people?
Which
remember
one?
it?
I sent you a lot from you. I sent you a couple from you.
Where he's talking about, basically he's expressing this idea that the people who are more directly impacted by this conflict, mainly being Palestinians themselves and Jews themselves and people from those heritages, are filled with so much pain that they are not able to see
Mhm.
beyond that pain or even acknowledge in any way, shape, or form the reality of the other's pain at the same
Yeah.
time. And so he was saying that for the rest of us, we need to work on, what did he say? Like keeping space for peace, keeping space for future peace.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't blame them though. I mean, we keep talking about the importance of dialogue and talking to each other and understanding. But if this happened, any of this happened to us personally, a lot of us personally, like, stop talking about that and be like, you know what? Let's just destroy the other side. I mean, sometimes a lot of people from our side feel like that just by witnessing some of the things that they hate from certain communities, and they just want to be like, you know what? I give up. I give up. These people are too far gone. So imagine you watching this from a distance and feeling like that. Then imagine if you were actually involved in it. If your family had died, or somebody you love had died, then how much would you be even more um, leaning towards forgetting about trying to solve things, trying to come up with understanding, or trying to convince other people out of their positions? You would, So now imagine, now we have thousands of families that their life has been ruined. They have been crushed over, and all of those people, a lot of those people are now completely quitting the idea of compromises or understanding, and that it just creates generations of radicals, one after it. This is what people refer to as the circle of violence, I guess. But anyways, I think people already know this. This is not that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, especially with the younger generation. I don't even know what to make of Gen Z. I don't even know what to make of Gen Z. We're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Yeah. All right, we have two super chats. So let's head. Yeah.
I low key.
What?
I think we should ban TikTok.
That's, but look again, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, a lot of times, I mean, we like, you know what? Let's just we would click on the nuke option, the nuclear option. I just think like we shouldn't give up. I mean, as hopeless as sometimes feels, I think we should constantly remind ourselves that if there's any chance for improvement, is to reach out and talk. Like, we should never give up on that, no matter how hopeless things seem.
No, but I think banning TikTok might actually be a step in that direction. I think that might be
Okay.
part of the anecdote. I'm like, to further the possibility of people not being radicalized, especially young people who are now praising A Letter to America by Osama bin Laden all over TikTok.
I don't like banning stuff. That's my problem.
I know. I mean, I don't like it either. But again, this is just me expressing a frustration.
All right, we have super chats, and you started a comment as well, so let's get to that.
Oh yeah. Enki is saying, thank you for the Australian $5 super chat. Anyone knows when the worldwide protests for the ethnic cleansing in Sudan is going to start? Enki, don't hold your breath. It's not going to happen. Let's be honest. It's not going to happen.
Or Yemen.
Yeah. And I apologize if anyone's offended by that. But let's be real with ourselves. It's not going to happen. But if this is something you care about, I don't know, go check in with your local Sudanese community. Maybe they have a demonstration and you can join, and you can be one of the people that's actually contributing to raising awareness about it. And so Dave gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you. Saying, I'm worried for Jewish people because due to Islamic immigration in the West, Jewish people will lose political voice. They are not even safe in Israel. It depends on the country. In terms of like power within the body politic, so to speak. But like if I was a Jew in the UK, I would be freaking terrified. If I was a Jew in London, I would not feel safe, especially if you decide to do any public display of your Jewishness, which is horrible. It's shameful. It's beyond shameful. I'd be like, how can I immigrate to America? And I'm not saying America is great, but I think it's better. It's absurd.
I mean, Israel is safer, even after October 7th, relatively. Especially if you're in Tel Aviv, for example, or Jerusalem.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm the only person that finds it so ironic that every time that there's a conflict and all of a sudden hate crimes against Jews absolutely spike to historic levels. I mean, this happened during the war that happened in 2021, right? And I remember, what's his name? The Argentinian Jewish David Pacman. He was saying that he had to shut down comments on everything he posted because of all the anti-Semitic hate that was being poured towards him. And he's like the most progressive Jew there is, pretty much. And he was saying, ironically, when you guys do this, you actually prove the necessity of having Israel. Every time this happens, this proves the necessity of having a state where Jewish people, no matter your heritage, can find refuge.
Perfectly said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
I wish they were better at acknowledging the Jewish heritage of Chinese Jews because they deserve refuge as well. But that's a different matter. Sid Dave gave us a few more super chats. Thank you. Saying TikTok should be banned unless we get access to China. I want these. I want these Chinese kids to learn about Dylan Mulvaney and the great American leftist ideas. But this is the problem, is that the Chinese version of the TikTok app that they send to their own population is very different, and it's algorithmically different than the version we get in America. They would never for an instance tolerate Dylan Mulvaney on the Chinese version of the TikTok app. They think men that are even just a little bit metrosexual by our standards are essentially sissies, and they put out government propaganda against them. They don't tolerate this stuff. Meanwhile, there are people concerned that there are people becoming trans because of TikTok in America. It's so absurd. Yeah, so I would love to see the Chinese government's reactions to Dylan Mulvaney. Also, he said European Jews can pass as white, so they will be safe unless they openly display their Jewish symbols. And it's still sad the situation is like this in Europe. Well, not all European Jews can pass as white.
But that's actually sometimes it makes it worse because a lot of people are trying to look into whether you're. I mean, the fact that you can't tell who's a Jew or not makes this whole conspiratorial element of it more interesting and engaging to anti-Semitic people. It's kind of like finding them. Like, it's not because you can't. It makes it a more fun for them. It's like detective work, which conspiratorial-minded people love. So if it was all you could see it, it wouldn't be as engaging for them. So this actually sometimes makes it worse, because it also helps the fact that for them to act like these are people behind the scenes that are controlling people, and you are going and figuring it out. So it plays into that. So it doesn't actually help. It actually makes it worse in many cases.
And yeah, like you said, it's really sad. This shouldn't be the situation or case in any way, shape, or form. They shouldn't have to assimilate.
To hide it. Yeah.
Sid also said, what are your thoughts on Emma Vigeland and Sam Cedar of the Majority Report? I used to like them, but I feel Emma is truly a brainwashed leftist. I have no idea what her recent stances are on this conflict in particular, but I just remember, like, probably last year, she had some statements regarding transgender women in female sports. And I was like, oh, girl, you're on a different level. Like, she puts out statements regarding that. You can have your own opinions. And I'm like, your stance that you are pushing publicly is actually so harmful to transgender people. Because she takes it so far. I was like, this is so absurd, you're a lost cause. So I honestly, after that moment, I had to write off basically all of the commentary I see from her, because it was just on a different level of absurdity. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Do you have any opinions, Armin? I don't know if you keep up with the Majority Report.
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't keep up with them.
Yeah. All colors. Oh yeah. Again, we're just calling you all colors now. Send us another super chat saying, the modern left represents the socialism of fools, anti-Semitic Stalinism.
I mean, not all of them, but I don't want to generalize all of the modern left, but it's becoming it's a problem within the modern left. But again, hashtag not all leftists. So
yeah,
just want to reach out. But thank you.
And I love this comment by Doorknob Head saying, Je suis Garcade. Do you understand the reference?
No. Oh, the tree.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't understand the first part.
Well, because it's instead of Je suis, I can't speak French. Charlie saying the Garcade tree. For those who are not aware,
right. Okay.
In Islamic scripture, there's a prophecy that during the end times, during the end of the world, every rock and tree, that's when all Jews will be kaput, shall I say. Mm-hmm. And every tree and rock will literally move behind to tell the Muslims, oh, Muslims, a Jew is behind me, except for the Garcade tree.
We should make this into an
anti-fascist. The Garcade tree should be an anti-fascist icon.
Yes, I like this. I like this as a chant or something, as a symbol, or I like this. This is a genius, Doorknob Head. This is genius.
The only tree that will protect the Jews from extermination.
Yeah. Yes. I like it. We should use that. All right. So let's go to the next news. Can we clap for the next news? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Australian court rejects Catholic Church's tactics to dodge abuse claims. In a groundbreaking decision, the Australian High Court has ruled against the Catholic Church's strategy of using the deaths of, shall we say, PDF file priests. I'm not going to say the real P word on YouTube. The PDF file priests and a shield in abuse claims. This landmark case challenges the Church's practice of seeking permanent stays in historical abuse matters, a tactic revealed by a Guardian investigation to be commonly used for dismissing or minimizing survivors' claims. The High Court's ruling, articulated by Chief Justice Susan Kiefel and Justices Stephen Gallagher and Jane Gagot, emphasized the critical importance of courts hearing and deciding cases except in truly exceptional cases. They are quoted as saying, quote, if a court refuses to exercise its jurisdiction and to hear and decide cases in other than exceptional circumstances and as a last resort to protect the administration of justice through the operation of the adversarial system, that refusal itself will both work injustice and bring the administration of justice into disrepute. Meaning that denying justice on technical grounds, such as the death of perpetrators or loss of evidence, undermines the integrity of the judicial system and perpetuates injustice itself. This ruling signifies a significant shift, prioritizing survivors' rights to seek justice over the Church's defensive tactics, and underscores the court's role in upholding justice, especially in cases of historical abuse where evidentiary challenges are common. So this is amazing because there are many other, so this happened in New South Wales, I believe. And there are many other high courts within Australia that were waiting for this decision to come down to see how they're going to be treating historical abuse claims within their, I don't know if you guys call them provinces or states, different, area of Australia. And so basically, like I said, the Catholic Church in Australia has a history of basically saying, oh, well, this priest that is accused of doing terrible things to children is dead now. So we can get this case dismissed or use all these legal tactics to get it minimized or completely thrown out because this person isn't even alive anymore to give their testimony or their own accounting on events and all this stuff. But at the same time, the Australian Catholic Church and Catholic churches around the world have a history of not only not keeping proper evidence or actually concealing the evidence from the government, from investigators, actually concealing it and hiding it, or basically destroying evidence of these abuses, compounded with the fact that on average, it takes 22 years for a survivor to come forward. That basically means that in normal circumstances, everything is stacked against the survivor and the victim from an evidentiary standpoint. Because not only is it decades later, but in those decades later, the Catholic Church probably actively covered it up, or even worse, actively destroyed evidence. And so the court is rejecting the church's tactics that they've used to try to get these cases thrown out off on these technical standards. Because they're saying, given the circumstances, if we just throw it out on these grounds so simply, then that's actually an injustice. Given the circumstances and the tactics and all the facts at play, we have to still give the victims some ability to speak in court. And fantastic decision. I'm excited to see how this influences the rest of Australia.
Australia seems pretty aggressive against the Catholic Church. Am I wrong to say this? Because every time we cover something about Australia and the Catholic Church, it just seems like the justice system there is just going out full force in punishing the church. Relative to other countries, they seem to be the most aggressive.
I don't know. I know that in general, the Australian system has been pretty good. I mean, and maybe Australians would disagree with me. I'm just aware of several cases of the Australian government doing huge and lengthy inquiries into several different abusive sects. So they've done a thorough investigation into the Jehovah's Witnesses, taken action against them. They've done the same thing with Scientology, went after Scientology very aggressively. And they've also done a lot of inquiries against abuse that happens within the Catholic Church. And I love to see it. I hope they keep it up. If there are people from Australia that maybe have criticisms or other information, I would love to hear it. But yeah.
Oh, Dornab is saying PDF files is just a symptom, not the disease. But yeah, exactly. PDF files in the church. Exactly. The church is the problem. The whole church is the problem.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. All right. So we should move on to oh my God, this next news is something else, eh?
This is so wild.
Can we clap for it?
Yeah, this is just absurd.
All right.
Next news. Conservative Indonesian Muslims protest Coldplay concert for being gay friendly. Not even being gay themselves, just being gay friendly. We ain't having it. Okay. In Jakarta, Indonesia, a group of conservative Muslims organized by the 212 Brotherhood alumni staged a protest against Coldplay's upcoming concert, citing the band's local support for LGBT rights as contradictory to Indonesia's moral values. The protesters, rallying after Friday prayers, expressed concerns that the British ban's advocacy could negatively impact Indonesian youth. Novel Banupmin, a coordinator for the protest, emphasized this sentiment, declaring, quote, Coldplay has long been a strong supporter of the LGBT, and its lead singer is an atheist. We must reject their campaign, their concert here. This stance reflects a growing tension in Indonesia, a secular nation with a history of religious tolerance, but also an increasingly vocal extremist fringe. Despite these protests, Indonesia's tourism and creative economy minister has assured that the concert, part of Coldplay's Music of the Spheres World Tour, and highlighted in a highly anticipated event by many Indonesian fans, will proceed without disruptions, highlighting its potential economic benefits in the post-pandemic recovery. This situation mirrors past incidents where international artists faced opposition in Indonesia due to their perceived cultural or moral stances, underlining the complex interplay between global cultural phenomena and local societal values. So, I thought that this was quite amusing because they're not even gay themselves, but they're still saying, "Why are you gay?" No,
What are you gay?
And the lead singer, Chris Martin, isn't even an atheist. He says that he's an all-theist, which sounds like some woo-woo, like, I believe in all spirituality. Which never makes sense to me since, several of the world's major religious traditions decry the other ones as blasphemous and worthy of hellfire. So... Anyways, Tema is saying, as an Indonesian, I'm so embarrassed. That's unfortunately a normal thing here. Part of it had to do with... So, I know, you have nothing to do with this, Tema. You're part of the solution, because you're very welcoming and understanding. And
you should be proud of yourself. Yes.
And so remember, Armin, how you covered the band, the 1975, having that incident in Malaysia where the lead singer kissed a dude on stage and then people flipped out?
Yes.
So after that happened, they weren't able to go to Indonesia. They were supposed to go to Indonesia next on their tour, and it got canceled because he did that. And there was another incident where Lady Gaga was going to do a tour in Indonesia, and her event got canceled basically because of terrorist threats, because she's very, very LGBT friendly. So unfortunately, this isn't an isolated incident.
Oh, there's this, Indonesia overall, do you think that it's going more in the direction of Islamizing everything or in the direction of not giving into Islamization? What do you think in general?
I read a lot of conflicting reports. I read a lot of conflicting reports about what kind of direction Indonesia is going in. Sorry, I'm having a hard time breathing right now. For those of you from Indonesia, I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you feel like there's more Islamization or more liberalization? Because based on some recent reports that I've read, it does seem like they're, again, based on reports, a growing or more powerful Islamist movement.
Yeah, Tema in the live chat from Indonesia. Go ahead.
All Colors is saying Indonesia hosts one of the biggest brutal death metal and grindcore festivals in the world, and they banned Coldplay. Coldplay isn't banned. They are continuing. The ministers said that they're welcome to come. There's going to be good security. But there were people that were not too happy about it, including this guy standing in Jakarta holding what appears to be the ISIS flag.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that. Oh, my God, you're right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's no big deal. Nothing to see here.
Okay, good thing you mentioned that. Yeah. We got a super chat, and then we should go to the next news.
Okay. Okay, let me find it. Okay. Sid, thank you again for the super chat, Sid, saying, except for Arabia, what has any society ever become better after becoming Islamic? Iran, Egypt, Pakistan were so much better. Pakistan would be in India, Egypt would be in the West, and Iran secular without Islam. I think, yeah, this is what I would try to communicate to people, like, and Armin, you can comment on this too, like, that Islamists will never bring liberation. People need to understand that. Islamist movements have overwhelmingly failed, and when they are quote unquote successful, you get the Islamic Republic of Iran. And I don't know about you, but in all these countries where there's a bold Islamist movement, I actually want a lot better for the population than to be living in the conditions that Iranians are living in the Islamic Republic. I mean, I'm intimately familiar with the decisions and the sacrifices and what my Iranian friends have to give up and deal with on a daily basis. And it's horrible. Mm-hmm. It's miserable. And I want better for the world than that. So really keep that in mind when you're talking to people who are sympathizing with these groups because they have some sort of alignment or soft spot for quote unquote anti-colonial, anti-imperialist, anti-Western ideologies. Think about what has been the results of these Islamist movements. Do we see success? Do we see prosperity? What are the lives and quality of life like for the people that live amongst or under these movements? I don't want people to live like that. I don't think anyone that actually cares about any given population would want that for them. So I really want people to keep that in mind. What do you think, Armin, about that super chat?
No, I think you answered it pretty well. I don't have anything to add. All right, can we move to the next news? Can we clap for it?
Yes, this is interesting. This is interesting.
Oh, very interesting. Yes. Okay. And Next news.
Transgender Catholics welcomed. Vatican opens doors for baptism. The Vatican has made a significant stride in inclusivity by stating that transgender individuals can be baptized in the Catholic Church and serve as godparents, albeit with conditions to prevent public scandal or confusion amongst the faithful. This pronouncement, approved by Pope Francis and published by the Vatican's doctrinal office, signifies a notable shift in the Church's approach towards transgender individuals, allowing them to participate in key Catholic sacraments. Francis de Bernardo of the U.S.-based New Ways Ministry hailed this development, saying, quote, "It is big and good news. It is a major step for trans inclusion." The document, responding to queries from a Brazilian bishop, clarifies that transgender adults may serve as godparents, subject to the local priest's discretion and assurance of no risk of scandal. This move contrasts with previous restrictive policies in some dioceses and represents a broader effort by Pope Francis to create a more welcoming environment for LGBT individuals in the Church, despite traditional doctrines. The Vatican's stance, however, remains complex on issues like same-sex marriage and sexual activity, illustrating the ongoing tension between long-standing religious doctrines and contemporary societal shifts towards inclusivity and acceptance of diverse identities. So this is not something I was expecting to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, this is moving very fast, which is going to probably piss off a lot of conservative Catholic priests, especially in the United States. Oh, where did Susie go? Susie, come back. I need you to. What do you think about it? Because you are, by the way, for people who don't know, Susie is an ex-Catholic. So what do you think? How is this going to be received by the larger Catholic community? Because a lot of them are very, very, very anti Isn't this like a very difficult position for Catholic priests? Because at first, on one side, they hate this, they think this is against their beliefs, but on the other side, their belief is that the Pope is always right. So how do you fix that? How do you
Exactly. Like the Pope is supposed to be infallible. Excuse
right?
me, you guys. I'm having a hard time breathing. But so in America, there are a lot of Catholics that are actually like very democratic, and I mean like with the Democratic Party, or very left leaning. Like in comparison to the global Catholic body, American Catholics are relatively more progressive, right? At the same time, within America, there is a big traditionalist movement within the Catholic Church. And also around the world, the Catholic Church is obviously a bastion of conservatism. So this is going to be very complicated because the Catholic Church is in a position, like many Christian groups around the world, especially the Anglican Church, where in some of their strongest and most wealthy countries, the population is moving in a more progressive way faster than the church can adjust. So they're losing support and people in the pews, and they're also losing monetary support. But in the meanwhile, in populations and countries where they actually have more Catholics, where more people are showing up to church, where there's a more active body, more active congregation, people are remaining very conservative. So it puts them in a very difficult situation. And groups like the Anglican Church are basically headed towards a full-blown schism, specifically over the LGBT issue. So this is pretty wild. And it's so funny because, Enki is saying woke Pope, and Zaid is saying, I bet Catholics seriously hate the current Pope. Yeah, so there's like a far-right Catholic news channel that I follow because I just got to keep up with the times and see what they're talking about because it'd be some wild shit. And there is a movement against him, which is so difficult. And Armin, I think you've made this joke before that they're like,
are they protesting? Are they protesting against the Pope? Because we have a name for that. If you protest against the Vatican, you are a Protestant. That's why we call it Protestant. So, I mean, you don't get to do that. You don't get to protest against the Pope and still be Catholic. The whole idea of the Catholic faith is submission to the Vatican. That's the whole point of being Catholic. Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, it's very confusing. There are a lot of cardinals, that are very, very against him. They speak out very strongly against him and have basically received some form of punishments because of their backlash against the Pope. So I really don't know where these things are headed, especially because, I mean, there's conflicting narratives about if Pope Francis is going to retire before his death, the same way that Pope Benedict XVI did. But I think he's probably going to stay longer and not retire, stay until his death. But yeah, it's a huge issue, especially because he is taking numerous steps to actively progressivize the church, for lack of a better term. And it's causing huge backlash, including censors and sanctions against doing a very traditional Latin mass to try to kind of bring congregations back to a baseline. And the drama is real. Guys, let me tell you, if you follow Catholic news, the drama is real.
Okay, we have, by the way, okay, so the woke Pope comment, you already read that. We have Rita saying Susie should be the new Pope. I would love to see that. That would be amazing. If
No,
Susie
thank
was
you.
Sorry, guys, Susie is sick. Okay, how do you respond to this comment by Zaid? Susie.
Zaid is asking, Susanna, how would the Catholic you in the past have viewed this? I mean, I was not a good Catholic. I did not go with the flow. I did not go with the get down. I was not with it. I mean, my therapist says that my reaction as a teenager was to essentially burn down the church, meaning like utter and total rejection of everything. So I never would have been the type of Catholic to take issue with this or think that the Pope is satanic or something. Yeah, I mean, I was raised as a Catholic, but it wasn't something I really actively chose. It was just the culture of my family and the school system that I grew up in. So I think as a Catholic, I would have probably been happy about this. Yeah, Skyworks is saying a Catholic only in name. Yeah. I mean, I did believe, I was a believer, but the beliefs that Catholics traditionally have about the sanctity of the church itself was never something I really personally had.
All right, we have 2 super chats. Do you want to read those?
Seed of Iblis is saying, I never made confirmation as a Catholic. I was such a rebellious heathen. LOL. Exactly. By the time I was supposed to receive my confirmation, my parents had given up on me doing that kind of thing a long time ago. They had to drag me kicking and screaming, not literally, you know. I used to make it so difficult for them to go do religious things together as a family that when I was supposed to be doing these other sacraments, they're like, so exhausted and tired by me making it difficult they didn't even try. So few super chats. Sid gave a super chat, thank you, saying Iranians are responsible for the spread of Islam. If only you had taken the Arab threat seriously and defeated them in the battle of, I don't know how to pronounce this,
Qadisiyah.
Can you explain the context of this, Armin?
That is the battle referred to the battle when the Arab armies that invaded the Sassanid Persian Empire 1400 years ago, when they that's the battle where the Arabs defeated the Persians and conquered the Persian Empire. So Sid is blaming the Persians, saying that why didn't you guys just win that battle and didn't fall to the Arab invasion. That's what Sid is saying. He's blaming Iranians, because if the Persian Empire didn't fall, Islam wouldn't be spreading. He's like, you guys should have done a better job defending yourself. That's what he's saying.
God damn it! Curse you! This is such a cute comment from Doorknob Head saying, look at Armin's face light up when he finds out he can clap. Adorbs. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, good news. Okay.
Oh, Secular Rarity.
Oh, yay. Okay, we'll get to the super chat in a second. All Colors is saying, we Europeans have Poland banning behemoth and cattle decapitation. Okay, yeah, Poland has really decided to hang on tight to their blasphemy law, which is lame. You know,
can't
a bunch
do
of
that.
other Europeans.
You're part of the EU.
No, but there are a lot of states in the EU that have blasphemy laws or provisions technically on the books. They're just never used. They should still be removed, but they're never used. But Poland actually actively still uses them. And I don't know what the deal with cattle decapitation is. I mean, that sounds like a really cruel and inhumane way to kill a cow. You don't have to kill a cow, so I don't actually really have a problem with that. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that either. Yeah.
You have a less brutal and painful way to kill that animal.
Yeah. But the behemoth one, I don't agree with that. I don't know how these two are related, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have a lot of super chats coming in. But
Yeah,
Erkin
Erkin, thank you. Saying, Paleo-Protestantism versus Neo-Protestantism reminds me of Paleo-Conservatism versus Neo-Conservatism. Interesting comparison. And Saklai, thank you for the $10 super chat saying, hey, I'm
yeah,
sorry I'm late, fellow heathens. I have a big surprise at the end of the stream. Keep up the great work, guys. I know you have both been working hard behind the scenes, especially Susie. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. We
guys,
do both do a lot of work to keep, and the whole team actually does a lot of work behind the scenes to keep everything running.
yeah, guys, let Susie know that you appreciate her, because most of what Susie does is behind the scenes, and it's a very thankless job sometimes, because it's not like streaming in front of you guys to see all the work she does. So, given that we don't pay Susie, we pay her with gratitude, and we need you guys to help me with that, because she does need to see that her work. Sometimes she does a lot because she cares about you guys and the community, and sometimes it doesn't seem like it's being seen. And so it would be very, very helpful if you guys tell her that you do see and appreciate what she does, because it does motivate her and gives her a lot of energy. So please do that. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
And Sid is saying, I think we should honor the Arab pagans who opposed Muhammad. History has vindicated them. They saw Muhammad for who he was. Good guys don't always win. LOL. Oh, I guess you're talking about the pre-Islamic Arab pagans that were not a fan of Muhammad when he was in power in Mecca before he moved to Medina. And the tides shifted. And we saw how the verses of Revelation, changed quite significantly when he was in Medina. Funny how that happens.
All right, I'm starting. Thank you, Sid. By the way, Susie has a lot of good Islamic knowledge. That's another thing we should appreciate about Susie. So, all right,
Instead of Iblis is saying free Mecca. Oh my god.
All right, so really quickly, I want to just highlight all these comments. John is saying, I do appreciate Susanna. Mo is saying, I love Susie. Rieti is saying, Susie's a big multitasker. Appreciate her. Doorknob is saying, I'll hate Pope Susanna. Wicker
I don't
saying,
want to
Susie
be
is the
Pope.
light.
I
Wicker saying,
abdicate.
Susie in the light is a light in the darkness, the true angel. Tema is saying, Susie, you rock. Gray is saying, Susanna, you do a brilliant job. Skyfall is saying, Susie, thanks. And there's a lot more. Susie, heart.
Oh, Marjan, salam. Oh.
Go, Susie. Here, Susie. Thank you guys, Muhammad, and the multi-culturalists, all of you guys. Thank you guys. And also, we just got a whole bunch of new super chats. So do you want to read those?
Oh my goodness, we're flooded right now. I mean, it's a good problem to have. Sid is saying the best way for Jewish people to tackle jihad is to refute Islamic myths like Abraham traveling to Mecca to start the Hajj, appropriation of Jewish figures. I mean, I think, it kind of ties into this. We need to go one deeper. We need to go a step deeper. We should promote questioning the perfect and uncreated nature of the Quran itself. Because it's not enough to just be like, oh, this particular myth doesn't make sense, or there isn't historical evidence for that. Sure, that's true. That'll be convincing for some people. But the root of our problem really is belief in the perfection of the Quran. And if you want to go a step further,
why am I even here as the ex-Muslim? You have such great takes. Like, why do I?
If we want to go a step further, we should go to a question of epistemology. But I understand that from a psychological perspective, most people are never going to get there. So, we'll take what we can get. Unicorn, thank you for the super chat. Is saying thank you, Susan Armin. Well, thank you for your support, Unicorn. And All Colors is clarifying that cattle decapitation is a death grind band. Oh, excuse my ignorance. That is quite the band name.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Okay, so let me, by the way, CW Iblis is saying, Susie, the homie, and Wicard, thank you so much for your comment as well. Let me just unstar all these super chats. And somebody flying spaghetti monster saying, Armin, I read your book, Why There Is No God. Very well written. Keep up the good work. Mwah. Thank you so much. And we got another super chat. You want to read this one?
Sid Davis saying, is there anything the Quran gets right? It gets the biblical stories wrong. Claims about nature and science are all wrong. In fact, there is nothing it gets right.
What,
I mean, donating to orphans is like decent.
Yeah. I'm sure you could find something that is right. It's impossible for you to write an entire book with nothing that is right in it. So I'm sure if you
exactly that's it wouldn't have stuck around for quite so long if that was the case.
Okay, Secular Sakai just gave us a $10 super chat saying many Muslims don't even believe. Thank you, Secular Sakai. Saying many Muslims don't even believe in the perfection of the Quran without realizing that they have to supplement it with the hadith. LOL. Many Muslims don't even believe in the perfection of the Quran. I mean, Muslims do. The vast majority of the Muslims do believe in the perfection of the Quran.
No, I think what he means...
No, I get it. Now, okay, he's saying like they claim that they believe in the perfection of the Quran, but the fact that they believe that you have to supplement the Quran with the hadith, they technically don't believe in the perfection of the Quran, and they don't realize that they don't believe in the perfection of Quran. That's a very, very good point. The Quran cannot be perfect if you need the hadith to make sense of it. So Muslims actually don't believe in the perfection of the Quran, and they don't know that they don't. I'm going to, Secular Sakai, I'm going to use that. I'm going to mention that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that from you. That's pretty good. Very well put.
Wait. Wikar is saying the only thing that in it is right is not marrying your mothers and aunties or something. I think I saw a verse. That's true.
You're right. Yeah,
that's true. That's a good one.
But that's also the specific verse. No, but that is the specific verse that tells you that endorses child marriage in it. So, like, if you continue reading that is the verse that the Quran itself, not just the hadith, the Quran itself endorses child marriage. So,
damn it, we were so close.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We almost had one. Okay. I don't know if this is in the Quran or if this is hadith, but what about the practice of washing your booty instead of wiping? Because you've always said that this is the one thing that Islam gets right, is that you should wash,
you're right.
not wipe.
No, just washing in general. Yes, actually, you're right. The washing with water, even in the place where there wasn't much water, that actually saved Muslims from a lot of diseases. You're right. We found something that is correct. That was good. We had to dig deep and we had to like really look, but there was something right in there. Good.
And it is wash your booty hole.
I mean,
it's also just this is what we settled on.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Just washing it with water in general was made them a lot cleaner. I mean, it wasn't that much cleaning, but it was more compared to the Europeans or other people back then. So yeah.
Wait, Zayd is saying Muslim wiped his ass with 3 stones. What are you talking about? But is that in the Quran or the Hadith? I don't remember.
No, that's when you don't have any water. That's when you don't have water. That's when there's no water available. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. Like, what do you do when you don't have water? They didn't have.
I don't even know. I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about wiping your booty with rocks.
Yeah, so great.
So horrible.
Yeah, exactly. So Great Jedi is saying washing your bum is the only thing I kept from Islam. Me too, Greg. Me too. I think that's the only thing. I think ex-Muslims, the one thing most ex-Muslims kept from Islam is washing your ass with water. Yes.
Wild.
Yeah. So we have another super chat. Yeah, this one.
Oh,
You want to read this?
lovely. So Dave is saying the Quran does say that there is a sun and stars, so that is probably the only thing that it gets right. The rest is all BS. I am talking about claims of the universe. Speaking about claims
Oh,
of the
yeah.
universe, the claims about what the properties of the sun and stars is definitely not correct.
Yes, yes.
Or right.
Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine. What do you do with oh, I remember also Muhammad specifically saying in the hadith not to touch bone. Don't clean your ass with bones on the ground. I mean, I have to look into this because he said those are jinns' food and you have to leave them for the jinns so it can eat them. If you wipe your ass with it, then the jinns can't eat it, and that's not good. So that's very kind of that's a hadith that some people refer to show how kind Muhammad is. Like don't wipe your ass with bones because that's jinn food, and Muhammad cares about jinns. He cares about the demons who have to eat the goddamn bones. They have no other food. So don't wipe your ass with jinn food. Something saying, don't bone your ass. Exactly. Did you think today you're gonna, Susie? Did you think today you would hear the sentence, "Don't wipe your ass with jinn food"? Did you think you're gonna hear that?
Do not contaminate the food of the jinns, okay, guys? You wouldn't like it if someone did that to you.
It's such a complete religion. It teaches you about anything.
I honestly say,
God.
Armin, please stop. We don't need this much knowledge. No, I imagine that there were. No, I'm right now. I'm having a mental picture of like some jinns, and they're like kind of on the outside of a caravan, and they're following the caravan to try to get the snacks afterwards, and scavenge and get the bones, and they just watch a human wipe their ass with a bone, and they're like, "Oh, come on, man!
That was my dinner.
I was gonna eat that." Or they're just watching. They're like, "Oh, you so nasty."
Oh my god.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
we got a whole bunch of super chats, a whole bunch and gift memberships. So you want to read that? We got a $50
Oh
super
god.
chat.
Amazing.
$50 super chat from Angel. Oh my
Thank you,
god.
Angel.
Yeah,
That is insanely generous. Okay.
generous, yeah.
They're saying, I'm glad to make a stream after so long, even with some of the news. I am listening while at work, but I hope everyone's having a good day. And on a side note, some people used to use corn cobs to wipe. Okay, well, thank you for the really generous support, Angel. I was not expecting that comment at the end of this sentence.
I did not expect that at all. Yeah.
But yeah, we're so glad that you are also watching live. Make sure everyone to tune in next week. We will be back at our regular time. I did see someone asking when that was, and our regular time is on Sundays at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And obviously it's different this week because I'm traveling, but we'll be back to normal soon. Sahar sending us 15 shekels. You know what that means, Armin? We have waited.
We are funded by Zionists.
We have waited a long time, and we're finally receiving the Zionist money. Kidding.
Yes.
Did you know that here in Israel we called a species of brown beetle Khomeini?
No,
We
really?
often called cockroaches Khomeini. I guess we didn't like it.
What, really? No, is that is that after Khomeini, Ayatollah Khomeini, or is that just an accident? That's amazing. I did not know that. I'm going to mention this on the Persian show. Thank you so much, Sahar. That's a very interesting information.
That is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I might pick up that practice, to be honest. In the same way, for our Persian audience, we like to call cutlets Soleimanis. Little Qasem Soleimanis. Which reminds me, January 3rd is soon approaching, which means there will be cutlet day soon.
All right, people are not going to know all of this reference, so I'm not going to about to explain that. But let's move on.
Sakai gifted an Atheist Republic membership. Thank you, Sakai. If you were the recipient of Sakai's new membership, welcome to Satan's Minions. And also, please drop the new emojis you have access to in the live chat so you can show everyone that you're in the Cool Kids Club now. Asian American gave us $5. Thank you, saying Jinn should become Taoists. They'll get way better offerings. That's true.
Oh, you're right.
That's true.
You're right. That's a good point.
Taoist spirits and ancestors 100% get the best offerings. I mean, I'm talking people burn little fake iPhones for them. They get tons of money. I mean, it's just like raining down cash up there.
Right.
Food, actual food, not bones. I mean, the upgrade is insane.
Yeah, you're right.
They're no longer getting bones that may or may not have been wiped.
I mean, that would imagine your Taoist ancestors having their food wiped with someone else. That would be a major insult. I could see why the Jews would be upset. Anyways, let's move on to the next super chat.
Sid, thank you again for another super chat. Is saying if Khadija had not financed Muhammad's occult activities, Islam would not exist. She should have divorced him. Her financing of the cult will never be forgiven. Honestly, you're right.
You're right. Good point.
Some people would just say that she's a very supportive spouse. And Sakai gave us another super chat. Thank you. Saying pretty sure that we have 40 plus donors now. I have gone ahead and increased my monthly amount to $110. Please give us an update at the end of the stream. Oh my God, Sakai. That is insane.
That is crazy.
In fact, we are approaching the end of our stream. So let me pull up our credentials really fast so I can actually log in and see the details.
That is really going to help us out.
Seriously, this is on a different level. This is game changing for us. Guys, Sakai has just pledged to give us $110 every month. That's crazy. And for those who are not aware, the reason why we're doing this is because in September, we essentially had to lay off our news writing staff because we, as an organization, were basically in a financial crisis. And we started a monthly donor campaign to basically raise the money coming in on a monthly basis to permanently sustain our news writing team. And so we had a goal of getting 50 $10 monthly donors to make sure that we always have enough to, keep our team going. And Sakai said that if we get 40 donors, then he will increase his amount to be equivalent to that of 10 monthly donors, therefore rounding out our goal, taking the initiative to complete the remainder of our goal. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible generosity. Just insane.
He's our Khadija.
He's our Khadija. He's our sugar mama? Is that what you're saying? Oh my god, the same way that Khadija was a sugar mama. Okay, let me I'm pulling up stuff on the back end right now so I can read it. Things are loading. Okay.
Oh, you're counting the new people.
Yes, Sakai, you have helped us reach our goal. You have completed our goal for us. This is absolutely incredible. Everyone, I hope you express your gratitude for Sakai, for what he gives to this community, the legacy that he has within this community, because really he's not just doing this for the benefit of us, he's doing it for the benefit of everyone that enjoys this show, learns something, maybe gets a good laugh, maybe just comes here to hang out and get some community with some other atheists online that share your values. I mean, it's legendary. Oh, Nasreen, she's saying, I love you, Sakai. Thanks a lot. Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, Nasreen, for the super chat. Oh, Tesla is saying, I can do psychological support. Does that count? Yes, Tesla, that counts. Thank you.
Yes, guys. Tesla June, you do so much for our community. Everything you do for our community, Tesla, is very appreciated. For those who don't know, Tesla actually helps us a lot running our Persian community. And our Persian community lately is exploding. Like, can you give people like an update about what's going on over there? Because I mean, this is one of my favorite things about what we do.
Yeah, I'm doing. By the way, I'm gonna try to do the same thing I do on the Persian channel on this English channel, which I'm trying to do streams every day on the Persian channel, and soon I'm gonna try to do streams every day on this English channel as well. So hopefully, I mean, almost every day. Not promising anything, but that channel ended up growing really fast because I do streams every day there, and I'm trying to get that. I'm going to focus a lot of the streams on this channel on reviewing, responding to responding to Islamic videos like Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawa, and Smile to Jannah, Daniel Hagaju. So because I think the threat of Islam is a lot greater than a lot of people realize. So I think I'm going to try to turn this channel into a full force against the spread of Islamic ideology around the world. So if you like that, make sure you subscribe, because I'm trying to turn it into a daily thing. Yeah.
We also need to call out these freaking leftists that are trying to destroy everything worth loving in this world.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Susanna at some point, guys, try to encourage her, because she's very busy, so she can't do that. But in my dream world, I would do streams that is constantly attacking, responding to Islamic, the spread of Islam around the world, and Susanna would have time, which she doesn't right now, to do streams on herself without me responding to nonsense we see from wokeism, because she's an ex-Antifa, I'm an ex-Muslim, and I think together we would have been, we would be great combo when it comes to threats to liberal values all around the world. Because I think the greatest threats right now, in the West at least, to liberal values is Islamism and wokeism. And I think as an ex-Muslim and an woke Antifa, we are a pretty good combo in responding to all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nasrin just gave us a super chat saying, I love you, Tesla. Thanks a lot. So yeah, Nasrin has such a kind heart. Every time she sees somebody,
I know, she makes me want to go to Sweden just to give her a hug.
Yeah.
Riyadh is saying Susie's hot takes on things are great. Well, thank you. I get a little bit fired up. And it actually gets so much more spicy behind the scenes, because Armin likes to trigger me with stuff. And I start going off, and he's like, you should film this. That should have been in video. And I'm like, well,
yes,
it's in the moment. I can't really replicate it the same way when I'm just cursing people out.
It doesn't have to be the same way. Like, guys, you have no idea. Susie, like, when we're alone, we're not on air, she's talking to me, and she has such amazing takes. I'm like, why is she just telling this to me? This should have been recorded. This should have been a video for more people. The world needs to hear this. But again, just try to encourage her to maybe do that somehow, somewhere, at some point, because that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I have a full-time job. And then just
I know.
keeping everything running at Atheist Republic is equivalent to a full part-time job. So yeah, if we well, actually, that brings me to I want to hire more people to help out our team. And Sakai is saying maybe a new soft target of 55 donors. Well, I have plans and thoughts and other fundraising goals, which we're gonna be sharing news about that at the end of the stream. So Armin, I actually realized that we still have another story. I thought we were at the end.
Yeah,
we actually have another story. I forgot.
Yeah, we do. We just got two with two start comments. You want to read those, and then we're gonna go to the next story.
Sid Dave is saying, please start an Atheist Republic Quran OnlyFans. Well, I don't know what that would mean. Like, what would that be?
I don't know.
A sexy
right.
ASMR reading.
That would go viral. All right. Let's do the next news. All right. So
Next news. Is the Islamic Republic behind the attempted assassination of this Spanish politician? The shooting of Alejandro Vidal Quadras, a former Spanish politician, has prompted an investigation with potential international implications, including a speculated link to his association with the Iranian opposition group MEK. Oops. Also known as the Mujahideen-e-Khaliq. Vidal Quadras, recovering after being shot in the face in Madrid, hinted at this possibility from his hospital bed. The MEK, with whom Vidal Quadras has had a long-standing ties, began as a Marxist group opposing Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi's rule in Iran. It gained notoriety from a series of attacks against U.S. officials in Iran during the 1970s, which it now denies. This group, once labeled as a terrorist organization by the U.S., has since remodeled itself as an opposition force against the current Iranian regime. Tehran's stance towards the MEK is intensely hostile, accusing Vidal Quadras of supporting terrorism due to his connections with the group. This background adds a layer of complexity to the shooting, as Vidal Quadras is a prominent figure with a history of involvement in contentious international politics. His shooting, carried out in broad daylight by an unidentified assailant, suggests the possibility of a politically motivated attack, given his past affiliations and the Iranian government's open disdain for MEK and its supporters. The Spanish police's investigation, expanding to include a unit specializing in terrorism and extremism, underscores the seriousness and potential geopolitical ramifications of this incident. So this was wild. I have a friend that's from Spain, and he knows that I'm really interested in Iranian things. And there's been a lot of political turmoil going on in Spain right now. And in the midst of all of that, there was this attempted assassination. And he was like, oh yeah, there's this far-right politician in Spain that's suddenly talking about that Iranians tried to kill him. I was like, what? He started talking about it because he knew that I'd be interested. So we're sitting there, and he starts to look it up on his phone. And as I see the news results, as he's scrolling, I see the logo of MEK. And I say, scroll up, click on that link. That's important. I need to read it. And I look and I see that a photo of this Spanish politician sitting there with none other than the cult leader, Maryam Rajabi.
No way.
And I'm like, oh my word. Oh my God. He's like, what is it? What is it? I'm like, I know exactly what happened. Basically.
Only you would.
I know, maybe such a nerd. Yeah, Riyad is saying MEK is basically a combination of Islamism and communism. Yeah, so you can imagine.
The worst ideology. The worst ideologies of the world combined. That's what MEK is. That's how bad this is.
Somehow they managed to top both of them in terms of being evil. It's quite an accomplishment. And so what a lot of people don't understand is that they think that MEK is a legitimate opposition group to the evil of the Islamic Republic, not realizing that the Islamic Republic, MEK is itself a terrorist group, that they're virulently hated by the Iranian people for carrying out terrorist attacks and killing Iranian civilians in their own efforts to come to power. And politicians like Rudy Giuliani, Mike Pence, people from all across Europe, unfortunately join forces with this MEK because they're like, oh, look, they oppose the Islamic Republic. They must be good. And it's like, no. They're not good. Their practices are terrible. Their behavior towards their members is abusive. They do cult activities. They hold a lot of really, really insidious, horrible Islamic beliefs. And this just seemed like such a wild crossover. Apparently, this man was outside of his home or something, and he was leaving when all of a sudden 2 men came up on a motorcycle, literally shot him in the face, and drove off. And the authorities are legitimately investigating that this was representatives of the Islamic Republic that did this. And yeah, I just thought this was absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. And he survived. He survived getting his shot in the face. His jaw was blown off.
Shot. Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine going through all that trouble to assassinate somebody and then failing. They must be very angry.
Well, I mean, the Islamic Republic does have a history of not being very successful in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just thought that was such a wild crossover.
Yeah. In Spain, of all places. Okay, so we have 2 start comments.
Yes, GJ saying, hi guys, is this the new time slot now? Nope. Just for this week. We're going back to our normal time next week, which is 8 a.m. Pacific time.
Right, yeah. And Seed, you start this one?
Yes. Seed of Iblis is saying, did y'all hear that Tumaj has been released on bail? Yes, I cried yesterday. For those who are not aware, Tumaj Salehi is an amazing revolutionary Iranian rapper whose case we have covered a lot on this channel. He's been, unjustly imprisoned, sent in solitary confinement, tortured, faced a death sentence for over a year. And he was sentenced to like 6 years or something in prison. And he actually got released on bail yesterday. And I cried. It was amazing news.
Oh. You should message him. He follows you on Instagram.
He doesn't follow me.
Oh, he likes some of your posts.
Yeah, like a few years ago, I commented one on his posts. And then after that, he went and liked one of my photos that was on my Instagram from when I was a teenager, and I freaked out because that means that Tumaj literally looked through almost the entirety of my Instagram before liking this one photo, and I was like, "What the fuck?" He got to see all my teenage cringe.
I wish he followed you so you could message him. Damn it! Okay,
I know that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Anyways, can we move on to the last subject?
Yes.
All right. Next news.
Okay, guys, this is really exciting. So can you zoom in? This looks all weird. So sorry, I just lost my train of thought because I'm feeling sick. Guys, there is a special time of year that is approaching. So there is something called Giving Tuesday. Now, if you're an American, that is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And Giving Tuesday is kind of an event that was created because there's Black Friday, there's, Amazon Monday or Prime Day, and all of these occasions that happen going into the winter holidays that are all about buying and consuming and all this stuff. So Giving Tuesday is an effort to be giving back instead of just buying for consumption. And it's an amazing occasion that is designed to raise billions of dollars for nonprofits and charities all over the world. And for the years that I've been involved with Atheist Republic, I've always wanted to do a Giving Tuesday campaign. And this year I put in a lot of work to make sure that we can run a Giving Tuesday campaign this year. So I just wanted to let everyone know that we are running this campaign, that the theme for this Giving Tuesday campaign is basically about the joy of giving to Atheist Republic because we are providing community for atheists that are isolated all around the world. In particular, in this campaign, which Armin, can you post a link in the live chat, please? What was that? The theme, oh, thank you. The theme is really, I'm focusing on our efforts for our Persian speaking channel, because our Persian speaking channel, Cumhuriyet Bi Khodayan, I think is some of the most special programming that Atheist Republic does. Atheist Republic really is, I mean, Armin, you can check this claim for me. We are one of the largest and most influential communities for atheists in the Persian language. And I want to highlight that more, because I think that's an amazing part of our work. That's a unique part of our work. And we are really servicing a need that isn't being serviced appropriately by other atheist organizations and nonprofits. And it's for a population that has shown the largest exodus from religion, from Islam, ever documented in history. And they don't have a lot of community. They don't have a lot of resources and content that focuses on the issues that they care about. And this is also a population that is crying out for the values that we really promote here, the values of the Enlightenment, the values of free expression, for rationalism, for scientific empiricism, and all those different aspects that we really fight for here at AR. And I mean, Armin, I think I would love if you share some of the stories of the things that you hear from our Persian community about the difference that our Persian community has made to them. I mean, you tell me about people who are ordinary people to some extremely skilled individuals that are now members of their team about how it's completely changed their life. But, I think you should share it firsthand.
I feel I don't usually say these publicly. I say it to you, but it just feels like bragging. So that's why I'm so uncomfortable saying it. But yeah,
it's not bragging. It's telling our story. I
know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just feels so self-serving to say it. So I'm not comfortable. But we do get constantly messages from people saying that we changed their lives. We saved them. They were in a dark place. They found a lot of people that found a community, that they were alone, that they were isolated, they felt demonized by their society, by their family, by their community. They call us their family, their actual family. They feel like the Atheist Republic of Persian community has given them a place that they feel like they belong to. And they wouldn't know what to do without our communities. Again, I feel so uncomfortable saying these, but this is a lot of times when I don't go live on the Persian show, a lot of people constantly message me like a lot of people say that they can't have a day without us going live. Like they need us, they constantly need us to go live on the Persian channel. And they get depressed when they don't. Like some of the people say that they couldn't even handle going through the day without having a live stream. So I just think like, I don't want to, again, that was it. I'm not going to say more, but I think like we are a lifeline for a lot of people in Iran, our Persian channel. But again, I don't like to, it just makes me, I need to get used to saying this because it's true, and we are making that difference, and we are doing that. I just, it just makes me feel icky just saying how I should get over it. I should get over it because it's the truth, and we are making a big difference on our channel. So yes, it's true. I will say it. I just feel like it's marked. I don't know why I'm so uncomfortable talking about congratulating ourselves. It seems just so self-congratulatory, and it makes no sense why I'm sensitive about it. I should get over it and just tell people.
Well, Armin, I think you need to frame it differently. It's not self-congratulating. We're reporting to the people that support our organization about our impact.
I know. That's why I have to change my mindset so I'm comfortable just telling that to people, because it is important for people to know. Yeah.
It is okay to recognize that you make a big difference to people.
Yeah, it just feels icky saying it like that, but yeah, sure, okay. You're right. I should say that. But thank you for pushing me into being more comfortable, because before Susie, here's the thing: a lot of the reasons why we have financial problems is because my resistance into saying that, telling people that we need help, we're making a big difference, we can't continue if you don't support us. I just feel like it's just it feels so much like sales and marketing, and basically my attitude towards it was making us go bankrupt, right? And Susie is now here, is pushing us into moving us in a direction where we tell people the difference that we're making and asking for help, and all the help that we're receiving because Susie is pushing us in that direction is making us able to continue. So again, thank you, Susie, I don't know how many times Susie had saved us, but without her, I would just not do any of these things. So thank you.
Well, I mean, everything we're sharing is true. We're just simply telling the story of the people that benefit from what we do, what our team does, all the work that we put in, all the hours that we put in, the effort that's made. And it's not we're sharing and reporting to people about the impact that's made, because it's important for people that give to our work to see that what they give to us makes a difference. And it is making a difference, but they have to be told. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I put up the link again one more time. I put up the link in the live chat for anybody who wants to help out.
Yes, exactly, guys. So please either mark your calendars for Giving Tuesday. It's November 28th here in the States. Or you don't have to wait for Giving Tuesday to give to Atheist Republic. You can give right now. You don't have to wait. And we have a goal to help us basically meet our deficit in our annual budget. And all your support is making a huge difference to our work, making sure that we can continue. And in fact, something that is a chronic fact of nonprofit work is that nonprofits are pretty much permanently under-resourced. And we want to bring our work, our team to the next level so we can have a greater impact. And we need the resources to do that. And I really love the way that we come together as an international community to strengthen each other and make sure that all of us atheists around the world, especially those who are persecuted, who are silenced and have to make really difficult decisions about the way that they live their life, that they see that there are people on the other side of the world who are speaking out against what they face. That makes a huge difference to people. Because I know there are a lot of atheists that feel completely invisible. But here, I want them to feel like we share their struggle and pain and that we speak about it when they can't speak for themselves. So when you donate to Atheist Republic, that's what you're donating to. You are sharing, you're supporting that kid, that teenager who's struggling, who fears their family and rejection, or worse, if their mere questions about religion are voiced. And they come here to feel like there are people that are like-minded, where they can be themselves. And that makes a huge difference to people psychologically and emotionally. And that's really why I do what I do. That's my favorite thing about what we do here as a community. So please mark your calendars for Giving Tuesday, or, go ahead and share a little bit with us now. It's massively appreciated, and it makes a huge difference to our members all around the world.
So we got a whole bunch of super chats, so we should go through that and then,
yes, lovely. Erican is saying we desperately need a Turkish channel. I would love to do a Turkish channel. To do a Turkish channel, again, nonprofit work, we need the resources. So with the support of our community around the world, I hope we can build to a day where we can actually service this need. Lobonzo gave us €6. Thank you. Saying, have you guys ever considered making infographics, Instagram infographics to share your secular voice? Then again, I'm not sure your takes would easily fit into one of those. In general, it's a major goal and desire of mine for us to build out our presence on Instagram and social media in general. And that would include showcasing a lot of this stuff a lot more. And I'm working and building strategies so we can get the resources to take that to the next level.
What would be actually, I think, more helpful for Instagram, because our Instagram is huge, guys, and we need video editors, more video editors, to use the volunteer link in the description to join us as video editors. And we need to take out 1-minute pieces of our live streams, me and Susanna, or the live streams that I'm doing with Elliot, or the live streams that I'm going to do by myself. Take 1-minute parts of it out and create reels and shorts for YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and for Twitter. So 1-minute videos that we could take out of the channel and post it on Instagram, and that will significantly increase our presence everywhere. So please, and it's a very easy thing to do. It's just cutting out 1-minute pieces. So please click on the link in the volunteer link in the description and join us as a video editor to help us grow that way. That would be very helpful. Okay. You're muted.
Nasreen, thank you again for another super chat saying you make a difference and I'm proud to know you. Nasreen, you're so sweet. GJ is sent us a super chat saying a lot of ex-Muslims thank David Wood all the time, and he often mentioned it, and then this guy left YouTube, which was his primary platform. And I'm very confused about his tactic there.
It was just, I don't know. It's weird. I don't think
confusing.
His reasons. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. That was strange. All right.
And GJ gave another super chat saying, off topic, Susanna, 2 weeks ago, I got a thank you letter from the Eye on Her CLE Foundation signed by Susanna with the same surname. Coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. That was me. And I thought that was probably you because I recognized the name. Yeah, for work, I do development and fundraising for the Eye on Her CLE Foundation. That's my job. And Kenny gave us €5. Just €5, no comment. Thank you so much, Kenny. And thank you for volunteering with us. Yeah. Kenny is helping us out a lot, for real.
Oh, thank you, Kenny. Oh, we just got another super chat.
Oh, my heart, Gajan. This means so much to me. Thank you for the super chat. He said, just wanted to say I've been following the rise of Atheist Republic since I was 13. Made a big difference to a bullied atheist in a middle school of Christians.
No.
I feel emotional right now. Thank you, Gajan. That's so amazing.
Thank you, Gajan. All right, so that was for today's show. I need to go prepare for the Persian show. So I'm going to focus now on that. But thank you, everybody. Again, guys, please make sure you like the stream. Please make sure you leave a comment after the stream is over. And please, go recommend this channel to as many people as you possibly can. Okay, that will really significantly help us grow the channel. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for today. Today, we got so much support and super chat. You guys are amazing. You guys are keeping the channel alive. So thank you, everybody who helped us out. And again, amazing. if you can't support us financially, just know that your likes and subscribes and comments, those help a lot as well. So
yes, make sure to subscribe, guys. We're on the road to 50K. Okay. Like, we are growing. The AR militia, the AR army is growing strong. Make sure to get us there. We need the engagement in the comments because we talk about things that YouTube doesn't like. So help us get to our next goal of 50K. It makes a huge difference. And we will be back next week at the normal time, which is Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific. And
all right, guys.
Sick.
We just got another super chat. I was about to leave. But thank you, guys, keeping us here with the super chats. You want to read this one before we go?
Yes, Benny is saying, love you and your work, especially Susanna. Thank you.
No.
Thank you, Benny.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, guys. All right, guys. Bye. See you next week. See you sooner, actually. Bye.